Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited you're back again to watch this video. My name is Sina, but you can definitely call me Nia. So from now on, you guys are my butterflies because I'm seeing there's a lot of butterfly things going on there. I'm a huge fan of butterflies, mostly for the story of how like you grow from a caterpillar to a butterfly. It is a wonderful story of just perfectly timed growth. Well, I'm very excited to shoot this video today. I have just shot a video interview for a job that I'm applying for. So I'm very optimistic about that, amongst other things that I'm really optimistic about. But that just made me think about talking. Well, I've been thinking of talking about it, but it actually has it more impressioned in my heart that I need to talk about goals. I have set such amazing goals for myself this year. I've always set goals, but I feel like this year I'm really just starting to take action and tap into it, and my strategies are changing. But the strategies are something we're going to talk about on a different day when we have a different story to tell, honestly. But the main thing that I really wanted to talk about today was how I'm reaching my goals without having to compromise with my goals, but I can always change the route to reaching and obtaining those goals. There's a lot of opportunities that come before you, and I think that selection process can be so tricky because some of them may feel like these opportunities have nothing to do with what your vision and your goal is, and they may feel like they're deterring you, or they're just standing in the way, or they're just like little bumps on the road that will make the process even longer than it should be. But I think that it's very important to have a selection criteria. I think the most important thing is to understand that life is not linear, number one. Number two, you don't know what made the pig fat. Everything that is brought before you, you need to be able to give it time and actually review it, and just make sure that you're not missing out on an opportunity that will play directly into the goals that you have. Sometimes we confuse goals with lifestyle. I would ask you like what your goals are, and you'd probably tell me like, oh, my goal is to just wake up at 1 p.m. literally, or like wake up early, go to my Pilates, or go to a cycling class, come back, not even come back, then go to Kuwawi, get a smoothie, and then drive back in your car, and then get to your house, all of those things, and do like all those aesthetically pleasing things. But I think the disconnect is the understanding that those things are lifestyle and not necessarily goals. So the goals are the things that get you those things. So if you want, for instance, your goal is to get a car this year, then you need to be able to say that my goal is getting a car, and then put in steps that you think will help you to reaching there. Maybe that it would be saving, fixing your credit score, taking a loan, and things like that. But the most important thing to also understand is there are going to be obstacles to obtaining those goals. Psychologically speaking, when a person envisions their future self, that I think in a more manifesting aesthetic, there's this thing of like you have to show up as your future self. You have to envision your future self so that you can show up as that person. However, it doesn't trigger as hard in your mind when you don't consider the obstacles of you getting to that point where you can become that person. Because what happens is when you consider the goal, and then consider the obstacles, and then consider the things and the steps you're going to take towards overcoming those obstacles, in your brain, what that does, it triggers the function mentality. It triggers problem-solving mentality. When you just envision the person, you're also like subconsciously telling yourself that you're already almost there, or you're already there fully, when in fact you're not. You think about your goal and you envision the person and you work towards getting to that goal. You consider the obstacles, you write them down, and then you also consider the steps that you're going to take towards overcoming those obstacles in order to reach your goal. Then you're telling your brain that this is something that I must work on. I'm yet to work on this thing. For it to be complete, I have to have overcome these potential obstacles. It's the little things that matter. When it comes to job searching and when it comes to maybe just trying to build your brand or your career, it's very important to also consider things that are on brand with the goal that you have. For instance, if you have a goal, I'm going to use a typical one. If you have a goal for like great skincare, you cannot be eating oily food all the time. Like, it makes no sense. That is not on brand with clear skin. That is not on brand with even like fat loss in your body. Steps can always be manipulated, altered. They can always be filtered to fit your lifestyle or to fit what you can do, your capabilities at the time. But what cannot change is your goal, especially when it's something that you set on and you feel like can be life-changing afterwards. Another thing that's very, very important is to avoid overstimulating yourself. I have an amazing parent that literally sends me job posts on like clockwork every single day, and I get that. It comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of not wanting me to stress out so much, because like I said in the previous video, I'm not really grand with idling. But I feel like that can be really overstimulating when it is such a stressful time for you. I'm not as much stressed with finding a job. I'm more stressed and concerned about finding the right job, because the right job needs to coincide with the goals that I have for myself. Remember, I need to be able to adopt my selection criteria on the jobs that she sends. Do you get what I mean? So the first one would probably be like, okay, is this in any way going to play a part in where I need to get? For instance, getting a retail job last year and probably this year as well was a great idea, because I was a student in something that has to do with the market, something that has to do with business, something that has to do with finances. So that made perfect sense, right? I was literally in the middle of the field that played directly into the goal that I have, which is getting that degree within that field, right? Great stuff. The second question is, now that I've been in that field, does this job house or accommodate or in any way factor in my lifestyle? And lifestyle doesn't have to be like how you're living currently now. It could be, but it has to be like at a point where now you have this responsibility of having a job. You kind of like elevated in life. Will this work? Will this job be able to at least factor in those things? Most of the time, which is quite sad, we always let our lives accommodate the job, when in fact it is the job that has to work together with the life, so that you can be able to have a full and fulfilled life. Because the truth of the matter is, most of the time you're going to spend more than 5 years in the job, or in that career, or in that field. So you can't be wasting away 5 years of your life and not even be getting an ounce of joy. That obviously like depends on the person. Maybe your objective is to just work your life away. That's absolutely okay. I do think that it's exerting yourself in a position and giving it your fullest impact and your fullest potential is great. But I also think that it's also good at this age and at this stage to consider things like that of like, can I work around my work schedule to accommodate my life and my lifestyle as well? Am I going to get enough money? But it's very important. I think, it's always good to vet the job you're going into, like do research, investigate how much work is going to go into it. And then also it's disrespectful, first of all. It's tasteless, it's crass to ask how much am I getting paid in the middle of an interview. But I've notice that like most of the time people just tell me how much I'm getting paid because I ask all like specific questions, right? Depending on the type of company it is, if like it is a big company or like a small company or a small business, some of them they'll tell you off the bat about, oh okay, I guess you see for this role, this is how much you're going to get. Some of them, it's included in the contract. By the time you sign the contract, some of them, it's included in the post, like the advertisement. They'll tell you that it is between this much and this much per annum. So I think it's rude to ask how much you're getting paid, or it depends how you ask it, really. I don't know. But it is also very important to know how much you're going to get paid and to vet that and weight it against the the amount of work you're going to be putting in, because it's very, very important. Like, imagine working 12 hours at a very excruciating space, and then getting money that you feel like doesn't suffice, but you're spending so much time, you're spending so much energy, you're literally like, your whole life is spent there. So it's a bit stressful, but I also understand that as myself, I would never change the place that I started at, in terms of like starting in retail. I've always wanted to be a retail girly. I think even in high school, like, I wanted to work at like a spa or something. I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute. I thought it was such a great, nice thing. It was fitting the aesthetic and all those things, right? So I don't regret at all having been a retail girly. I'll probably go back into retail because I have a different mindset, but I feel like it would have to be a different kind of like store condition, I want all those things. Why? Because it's good to start somewhere. It's good to start somewhere where you can really be tested. I feel like the hard things should go first. There's a video that I watched
years ago from this man. I forgot his name. Like, he's a black man. He's quite old. Some of the things that he says can be like, ooh, like they're so, but they're good. So he spoke about how, like, when you're doing your groceries, right, you wouldn't put your bread under your 1 kg butternuts, right? So the hard things need to go underneath. So maybe you'll put your rice, 20 kgs, you put your mealies, you put your canned beans, you put your all those things, and then you put your breads and your scones and soft stuff on top. That's how I feel like things work best. When you start with the difficult things first, you get them out of the way, and then you get to deal with the nicer and softer things. So when I say, for instance, going back to my second point,
when I say lifestyle, it's very important to consider that your job will at some point, in fact immediately, affect your lifestyle, but it has to be something that you feel like you can and are willing to work with and accommodate, right? This wind, honey, it's giving music video. Hey boo, hey boo. And this, my darling, is where I started off ramping. I didn't go off topic. I was just really, really excited and very happy, just feeling good and giddy. It's not every day that with certain conditions that seem like they've just been weapons placed against you to push you down. It's not every day that you wake up and you feel really good and optimistic, but I get to explain that in the video. But today was just a good day. I was just feeling so good and so blessed, and yeah, so let's go back to the video. I feel like sleep is spiritual. Like, everything is spiritual, but I feel like that sleep in particular was very spiritual. It was a warfare. It was, oh, it's a butterfly. Is it? It doesn't look like it. It's so dark. Anyway, I feel like that sleep in particular was like holding me tightly. So I had to literally break that spirit immediately, wake up, take a bath, just get together, have some breakfast, and come here and do this. Like, I'm so excited about today because I feel like it's not every day that you wake up feeling like, oh God, I'm so grateful for. You're always grateful for waking up, but it's like, I have something to look forward to, and you're more excited when you know that you're going to be doing something exciting. And when you spend a lot of time alone, I have a lot of time alone that I'm spending, so that can get to a point where it's very depressing. That's why I need to fill up my cup and fill up my days. That's why I need to constantly pray. That's why I need to constantly have a routine that I'm sticking to sometimes. But my routine is not like, okay, wake up, do this and this and this and this and this religiously. Obviously, the morning stuff are very important, like waking up. First thing I do is brush my teeth. Second thing I do is I'm most probably going to take a bath, and then I'm going to eat, right? So that's how I sequence my things, because if I take a bath first, then so, but it's very important to just it's so easy to just feel like you you're rejuvenated and excited and ecstatic and feeling all those things because you're looking forward to doing something. So it's not every day where you're like, I'm actually not really going to do much today. I'm going to be here at home. I'm going to be working on my mathematics. I am going to be checking a few of my emails, which is probably going to take about 10 minutes at most, and then I'm going to be reading a book. We don't have a TV, so nje kuyashelela, but I'm glad we don't have a TV because that does make me productive. But I'm just like really excited. The sun is out, Ban's out, so yeah, that just went on a big ass tangent, but you know what, God is good all the time. The hair is giving, it's giving melanin menru. I say this to say immoral. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed this little chit chat, and I really hope you do get to subscribe. Subscribe. Ngoba if you subscribe and I get views and I get AdSense, mangidla sidla sonke, telepathically speaking. But yeah, I'm so excited, man. I feel like this year is great. Amunyaka never really starts on the 1st of January, really. It always starts like maybe mid-January, and then it really goes in a panka around June. Then that's why I feel like now we have momentum. Do you get what I mean? Because June, that's where the crazy stuff happened. But this year, I think my year is going to start. It has already started, obviously. We are cruising nicely, you know. We have a Mahla Denyuka, but Hagi Fogo. I'm very just optimistic and excited, and I'm happy. I feel blessed. I feel so good. That was a great video.